Welcome, wanderers of the dark and seekers of the unknown, to Whispers on the Asphalt, your go-to channel for spine-tingling tales and haunted histories. Here, we explore the eerie corners of the world where shadows stretch longer than they should and the hum of tires on pavement is often accompanied by whispers from beyond. Today, we embark on a chilling journey along some of the most haunted highways in the Pacific Northwest, a region renowned for its breathtaking landscapes, dense forests, and a rich tapestry of folklore that blurs the line between myth and reality. The Pacific Northwest, with its mist-shrouded mountains, winding coastal roads, and endless stretches of wilderness, has long been a breeding ground for ghostly legends and unexplained phenomena. These highways, carved through rugged terrain and steeped in history, are more than mere conduits for travel. They are corridors of mystery, where the past lingers like fog over a moonlit lake. From spectral hitchhikers to phantom vehicles, from cursed landmarks to blood-soaked stretches of asphalt, these roads hold secrets that defy explanation and challenge the boundaries of belief. In this two-part series, we will peel back the layers of the supernatural, revealing the haunting stories behind the region's most infamous routes. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, prepare to have your curiosity piqued and your courage tested as we delve into the unknown. So buckle up, keep your headlights on, and join us as we navigate the shadowy highways of the Pacific Northwest. Let the journey begin. The sinister glow of Oregon's haunted lighthouses nestled along the rugged coastline of Oregon, where the mighty Pacific Ocean crashes against jagged cliffs and mist-shrouded forests stretch endlessly into the horizon, stands a collection of lighthouses that have become more than mere beacons for weary sailors. These towering structures, once symbols of hope and safety, now whisper tales of tragedy, isolation, and the supernatural. Beneath their weathered exteriors lies a dark history, one steeped in ghostly apparitions, unexplained phenomena, and chilling encounters that defy logic and reason. For centuries, these lighthouses have stood as silent sentinels, guiding ships through treacherous waters while bearing witness to events that blur the line between life and death. From keepers who vanished without a trace to phantom lights flickering in empty towers, the stories surrounding Oregon's haunted lighthouses are as varied as they are spine-tingling. Each structure carries its own unique lore, tales of heartbreak, madness, and inexplicable occurrences that continue to haunt visitors to this day. In this episode of our haunted storytelling series, we will embark on a journey to uncover the sinister secrets hidden within Oregon's most infamous lighthouses. We'll delve into first-hand accounts from those brave enough to explore their shadowy interiors, examine documented evidence of paranormal activity, and piece together the tragic histories that gave rise to their haunted reputations. Whether you're a skeptic drawn by morbid curiosity or a believer eager to confront the unknown, these spectral sanctuaries promise an experience unlike any other, a descent into darkness illuminated only by the eerie glow of their lanterns. So, gather close, dear reader, as we step into the fog-drenched world of Oregon's haunted lighthouses. Prepare to confront the shadows lurking within their hallowed halls, where every creaking beam and flickering light might just be a sign that you're not alone. The journey begins now. Heceta Head Lighthouse, the lady in white perched atop a windswept cliff overlooking the untamed Pacific Ocean. Heceta Head Lighthouse stands as one of Oregon's most iconic and most haunted maritime landmarks. Built in 1894, this picturesque beacon has guided countless ships through the perilous waters of the Oregon coast, earning its reputation as the strongest light on the Oregon coast. Yet, beneath its serene exterior lies a chilling legacy tied to a spectral figure known simply as the Lady in White. The origins of this haunting trace back to the late 19th century, when the lighthouse was first constructed under the supervision of Captain Andrew P.C. Heceta, a Spanish explorer whose name it bears. During its early years, the lighthouse served as both a navigational aid and a residence for its keeper and his family. It was here, amidst the howling winds and crashing waves, that tragedy struck in the form of a young woman named Rue. According to local legend, Rue fell deeply in love with the lighthouse keeper's son, but their romance ended in heartbreak when he mysteriously disappeared at sea. Consumed by grief, Rue is said to have taken her own life, throwing herself from the cliffs below. Her spirit, unable to find peace, is believed to linger within the walls of the lighthouse, forever searching for the man she lost. visitors to Heceta Head often recount unsettling encounters with Rue's ghostly presence. Many describe seeing a translucent figure draped in flowing white garments gliding silently through the keeper's quarters or standing motionless near the tower's base. Some claim to feel an icy draft sweep past them, accompanied by the faint scent of salt water and roses, a scent Rue reportedly favored during her lifetime. Others report hearing soft sobbing echoing through the halls, particularly late at night when the lighthouse is shrouded in darkness. Among the most compelling accounts comes from a group of paranormal investigators who spent several nights documenting activity at Heceta Head. Using thermal imaging cameras, they captured footage of what appears to be a humanoid shape moving through the building despite no visible source of heat. Audio recordings revealed faint whispers repeating the word, "Wait!" while EMF detectors registered erratic spikes in areas associated with Rue's tragic demise. One investigator even claimed to see Rue's face reflected in a mirror, her expression etched with sorrow, before vanishing without a trace. Guests staying overnight in the keeper's house, now converted into a bed and breakfast, frequently share their own eerie experiences. Lights turn on and off seemingly at random, doors creak open despite being securely locked, and objects shift positions overnight without explanation. Several patrons have reported waking up to find themselves staring into the hollow eyes of a pale woman hovering at the foot of their bed, her long hair billowing as if caught in an unseen breeze. In one particularly harrowing account, a couple swore they felt hands gripping their ankles as they attempted to flee the premises, leaving behind bruises that appeared hours later. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Heceta Head remains a popular destination for tourists and thrill-seekers alike. Its breathtaking views and rich history draw thousands each year, many hoping to catch a glimpse of the Lady in White. For those bold enough to spend the night, the promise of encountering Rue's restless spirit adds an undeniable allure. Yet, as each new visitor steps across its threshold, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of a love lost to the sea, or will they become another chapter in the lighthouse's haunted tale? Tillamook Rock Lighthouse. The ghosts of terrible Tilly perched precariously on a jagged rock formation nearly a mile off the Oregon coast. Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, affectionately and ominously nicknamed Terrible Tilly, is a testament to human ingenuity and endurance. Commissioned in 1881, this remote beacon was designed to guide mariners through some of the Pacific Ocean's most treacherous waters. However, its isolated location and tumultuous construction history quickly earned it a reputation as one of the most dangerous and haunted lighthouses in the United States. Today, its crumbling ruins stand as a macabre monument to tragedy, isolation, and the supernatural forces that seem to linger within its decaying walls. The story of Tillamook Rock begins with bloodshed. Construction of the lighthouse began in 1879, but from the outset, it was plagued by disaster. Workers faced relentless storms, massive waves, and unstable terrain, resulting in injuries and deaths before the structure was even completed. One particularly violent storm swept away tools, equipment, and even workers' makeshift shelters, leaving survivors stranded for days without food or fresh water. Local legends suggest that the spirits of those who perished during construction never left the rock, their anguished cries carried on the wind during fierce gales. Once operational, life for the lighthouse keepers was equally grueling. Cut off from civilization, the men stationed at Tillamook Rock endured months of solitude, battling harsh weather conditions and psychological strain. Supplies were delivered sporadically, and communication with the mainland was unreliable at best. Over time, reports emerged of strange occurrences within the lighthouse. Keepers spoke of hearing disembodied footsteps echoing through the narrow corridors, despite being the only living souls on the rock. Others claimed to see shadowy figures moving in the dim light of the lantern room, only to vanish when approached. These accounts grew more frequent and more disturbing as the years passed. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in 1934, when a massive storm battered the lighthouse for weeks on end. Waves over 100 feet high crashed against the structure, shaking it to its foundation. When rescuers finally reached the keepers after the storm subsided, they found the men alive but visibly shaken. Their logbook entries detailed horrifying visions, ghostly faces peering through the windows, spectral hands reaching out from the darkness, and an overwhelming sense of dread that permeated every corner of the lighthouse. Though dismissed as hallucinations brought on by exhaustion and fear, the keeper's descriptions bore uncanny similarities to earlier reports, fueling speculation about the rock's malevolent energy. Tillamook Rock's association with death deepened further in 1957, when it ceased operation as a functioning lighthouse and was repurposed as a private repository for cremated remains. Dubbed Eternity at Sea Columbarium, the facility stored thousands of urns containing ashes until financial difficulties forced its closure in 1999. Since then, the abandoned structure has fallen into disrepair, its once proud silhouette reduced to a crumbling relic of the past. Yet, tales of paranormal activity persist, drawing curious adventurers and paranormal investigators to its desolate shores. Modern-day explorers brave enough to venture onto the rock report chilling encounters consistent with historical accounts. Unexplained cold spots materialize in otherwise temperate areas, accompanied by the sound of distant wailing that seems to emanate from the ocean itself. Cameras malfunction inexplicably, capturing distorted images or failing entirely when pointed towards certain sections of the lighthouse. Some claim to see apparitions of men dressed in period clothing, their faces contorted in expressions of terror or anguish. Others describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them, as though unseen hands are attempting to drag them into the depths below. Perhaps the most unnerving aspect of Tillamook Rock is its ability to instill sheer panic in those who dare approach. Even seasoned sailors speak of an inexplicable unease as they near the rock, a sensation akin to being watched by something ancient and implacable. Fishermen tell stories of seeing ghostly lights flickering atop the ruined tower, mimicking the original beacon's glow despite the absence of electricity. Locals warn of sudden storms brewing without warning whenever someone ventures too close, a phenomenon they attribute to the vengeful spirits guarding their watery domain. Though access to Tillamook Rock is now strictly prohibited due to its hazardous condition, its haunted reputation continues to captivate imaginations worldwide. Known as the loneliest place on Earth, this forsaken lighthouse serves as a grim reminder of humanity's fragile relationship with nature, and the thin veil separating the living from the dead. For those who gaze upon its crumbling silhouette from afar, there remains an undeniable question: what, or who, still calls terrible Tilly home? Yaquina Head Lighthouse, shadows of the keeper's curse rising majestically above the rugged coastline of Newport, Oregon. Yaquina Head Lighthouse stands as a beacon of resilience and mystery. First illuminated in 1873, this striking structure has guided countless vessels through the treacherous waters of the Pacific Northwest. Yet beneath its elegant facade lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and a curse that continues to haunt its storied halls. Known locally as the Keeper's Curse, the legend surrounding Yaquina Head has become an integral part of Oregon's maritime folklore, captivating generations with its eerie undertones. The origins of the curse trace back to the early days of the lighthouse's operation. According to oral tradition, the first keeper, Thomas Whitaker, was a proud but deeply superstitious man who took immense pride in maintaining the beacon's unwavering glow. However, his tenure was marred by personal turmoil. Whitaker's wife, Eleanor, succumbed to illness shortly after their arrival at the remote station, leaving him to care for their young daughter, Abigail, alone. Grief-stricken and overwhelmed, Whitaker's mental state deteriorated rapidly. He became increasingly paranoid, convinced that the sea itself conspired against him, intent on claiming his remaining family member. Whitaker's fears proved tragically prophetic. One fateful evening in 1882, during a violent storm, Abigail ventured outside to retrieve a forgotten toy. Witnesses claimed to hear her laughter carried on the wind moments before a rogue wave swept her off the rocks and into the churning ocean. Devastated beyond measure, Whitaker blamed himself, and the lighthouse, for her death. In a fit of rage, he allegedly placed a curse upon the structure, vowing that no keeper would ever find peace within its walls. Shortly thereafter, he vanished without a trace, leaving behind only cryptic journal entries filled with warnings of vengeful tides and shadows that walk. Since then, Yaquina Head has been plagued by a string of misfortunes attributed to Whitaker's curse. Subsequent keepers reported bizarre and unsettling phenomena, ranging from inexplicable equipment malfunctions to unshakable feelings of dread. Lights would flicker erratically, even during calm weather, while tools and supplies would disappear overnight, only to reappear days later in impossible locations. Some claimed to hear the faint sound of a child's laughter echoing through the corridors, followed by the mournful wail of a grieving father. Others swore they saw shadowy figures pacing near the lantern room, their silhouettes indistinct yet unmistakably human. One particularly chilling incident involved a keeper named James O'Connell, who served at Yaquina Head in the 1920s. Described as a pragmatic and level-headed man, O'Connell initially dismissed the tales of hauntings as sailors' yarns. That changed one stormy night when he encountered what he described as a man cloaked in darkness, standing at the edge of the cliffs. The figure turned slowly, revealing hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through O'Connell's soul. Paralyzed with fear, he could do nothing but watch as the apparition stepped backward into the void, vanishing without a sound. Afterward, O'Connell suffered recurring nightmares of drowning, eventually resigning his post under mysterious circumstances. Paranormal investigators who have explored Yaquina Head describe it as a hotspot for spectral activity. Thermal cameras have detected significant temperature drops in areas associated with Whitaker's final days, including the keeper's quarters and the lantern room. EVP recordings captured during overnight sessions reveal fragmented voices speaking in urgent tones, some pleading for help, others issuing dire warnings. Perhaps the most compelling evidence came from a team using motion-activated cameras inside the lighthouse. Reviewing the footage, they discovered a blurred figure descending the spiral staircase, a staircase that had been sealed off decades earlier. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Yaquina Head remains one of Oregon's most visited lighthouses. Tourists flock to its scenic overlooks, eager to snap photos of its iconic tower against the backdrop of crashing waves. Yet, for those who linger too long, especially after sunset, the atmosphere shifts palpably. Visitors recount hearing whispers carried on the wind, seeing fleeting movements in their peripheral vision, or feeling an inexplicable chill despite wearing layers of clothing. Some even claim to capture orbs of light in photographs taken near the base of the structure, believing them to be manifestations of Whitaker's tormented spirit. Today, Yaquina Head Lighthouse stands as both a tribute to maritime history and a cautionary tale of hubris and loss. Its haunting beauty draws admirers from around the globe, each seeking to unravel the mysteries hidden within its walls. For those brave enough to delve deeper, the promise of encountering the Keeper's curse offers a tantalizing blend of fear and fascination. As the sun sets over the Oregon coast, casting long shadows across the landscape, one cannot help but wonder, is the curse real, or merely a product of overactive imaginations? Either way, the legacy of Thomas Whitaker ensures that Yaquina Head will remain a place where the past refuses to rest, and the line between myth and reality blurs with every passing tide. Cape Meares Lighthouse. The phantom lantern perched dramatically atop a craggy bluff overlooking the untamed Pacific Ocean, Cape Meares Lighthouse is a jewel of Oregon's coastal heritage. Constructed in 1890, this diminutive yet resilient beacon has safeguarded mariners navigating the treacherous waters near Tillamook Bay for over a century. Despite its modest stature, it's the shortest lighthouse on the Oregon coast. Cape Meares looms large in local lore, thanks to its reputation as one of the most haunted sites in the region. Central to its spectral infamy is the enigmatic tale of the Phantom Lantern, a ghostly light that defies explanation and continues to intrigue visitors to this day. The story begins with the lighthouse's first keeper, Benjamin Finkel, a meticulous man whose devotion to duty bordered on obsession. Tasked with ensuring the lantern burned brightly every night, Finkel took immense pride in his work. His nightly ritual included climbing the narrow spiral staircase to the lantern room, where he would meticulously clean and maintain the Fresnel lens, a marvel of engineering designed to project light miles out to sea. Yet, Finkel's dedication masked a growing paranoia. He became convinced that unseen forces sought to extinguish the beacon, plunging sailors into peril. Following Finkel's demise, strange occurrences began to plague Cape Meares. Keepers assigned to the station reported seeing a dim, flickering light emanating from the lantern room, even when the lamp was unlit. Some described it as a pale blue glow, others as a pulsating orb, but all agreed it bore an otherworldly quality. The phenomenon gained widespread attention in 1913, when a passing ship radioed authorities to report seeing the lighthouse aglow despite official records confirming it had been decommissioned for repairs. Subsequent investigations yielded no logical explanation, leading locals to dub the mysterious light the Phantom Lantern. Over the decades, sightings of the ethereal glow have persisted, drawing paranormal enthusiasts and curious tourists alike. Visitors exploring the now restored lighthouse often recount eerie experiences linked to Finkel's restless spirit. Many describe feeling an inexplicable coldness settle over them as they ascend the staircase, accompanied by the faint smell of oil and metal, the lingering scent of the lantern's fuel. Others claim to hear the rhythmic clinking of tools and the soft shuffle of footsteps overhead, as though someone is diligently working in the lantern room. On occasion, guests swear they've seen a shadowy figure bent over the lens, adjusting its components with painstaking care. One particularly compelling account comes from a group of paranormal investigators who conducted an overnight expedition at Cape Meares. Armed with infrared cameras and audio recording equipment, they captured footage of what appears to be a translucent hand turning the crank mechanism used to rotate the lens. Simultaneously, their EVP devices picked up garbled voices muttering phrases like, "Keep it lit," and "They'll drown." Most startling of all, one investigator claimed to feel a sudden pressure on her shoulder, as if someone were urging her forward, only to turn and find the space behind her empty. Fishermen and sailors also contribute to the legend of the Phantom Lantern. Countless seafarers have reported spotting the ghostly light during storms or dense fog, guiding them safely to shore when all other navigation aids failed. Some believe Finkel's spirit remains bound to the lighthouse, driven by an unyielding sense of duty to protect those at sea. Others speculate that the light serves as a warning, beckoning travelers to avoid the dangerous waters surrounding Cape Meares. Regardless of interpretation, the recurring theme of salvation underscores the duality of Finkel's legacy, a man consumed by obsession in life, yet redeemed by compassion in death. Today, Cape Meares Lighthouse attracts thousands of visitors annually, drawn not only by its panoramic views and historical significance but also by the allure of its haunting past. Guided tours offer glimpses into the lives of its former keepers, while nighttime excursions provide opportunities to witness the Phantom Lantern firsthand. For those brave enough to linger after dusk, the possibility of encountering Finkel's spectral presence adds an undeniable frisson of excitement. Yet, as each new guest gazes upward at the lantern room, bathed in moonlight or shrouded in mist, they must ask themselves, is the light truly a product of the supernatural, or simply the trickery of the mind? Either way, Cape Meares stands as a testament to the enduring power of mystery, where the boundary between fact and folklore blurs with every flicker of its ghostly flame. Nestled along the rugged southern Oregon coast, the Umpqua River Lighthouse casts its radiant beam across the tumultuous waters where the river meets the Pacific Ocean. First illuminated in 1857, this historic beacon has witnessed countless dramas unfold, from devastating shipwrecks to heroic rescues. Yet beneath its gleaming exterior lies a somber history intertwined with loss, abandonment, and spectral visitations. Known as Echoes of the Forgotten, the haunting tales surrounding the Umpqua River Lighthouse reveal a complex tapestry of human emotion and supernatural intrigue. The lighthouse's original incarnation met a tragic end in 1864 when erosion undermined its foundation, causing the structure to collapse into the encroaching sea. This catastrophic event claimed the lives of several members of the keeper's family, including his young daughter, Emily, whose body was never recovered. Local legend suggests that her spirit remains tethered to the site, wandering the shoreline in search of solace. Decades later, a replacement lighthouse was constructed nearby, but the scars of the past refused to fade. Visitors to the area often report hearing faint cries carried on the wind, reminiscent of a child calling for help. Adding to the lighthouse's haunted reputation is the story of Sarah Winslow, a keeper's wife who lived there during the late 19th century. Struggling with depression and isolation, Sarah found solace in painting intricate murals on the interior walls of the keeper's quarters. Her artwork depicted serene coastal scenes, a stark contrast to the chaos outside. Tragically, Sarah's mental health deteriorated further, culminating in her disappearance one stormy night. Search parties combed the surrounding wilderness but found no trace of her. To this day, guests staying in the restored quarters claim to see glimpses of a woman seated quietly in a corner, brush in hand, adding delicate strokes to invisible canvases. Modern-day encounters at Umpqua River Lighthouse include reports of ghostly apparitions and inexplicable phenomena. Guests often describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them, especially near the base of the tower. Shadows flit across the corners of vision, and disembodied whispers echo through the halls, speaking in languages unfamiliar to contemporary ears. Some recount waking up to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by unseen hands. Others report seeing a pale figure standing at the foot of their beds, only to vanish when approached. Paranormal investigators have conducted numerous expeditions within the lighthouse's confines, capturing compelling evidence of its spectral inhabitants. Thermal imaging cameras reveal cold spots concentrated in specific areas, including the keeper's quarters and the lantern room. Audio recordings capture faint voices muttering indistinct phrases, interspersed with anguished cries. Perhaps the most unsettling discovery came during a live investigation broadcast online. Viewers watching the feed spotted a shadowy silhouette darting across the screen in real time, prompting widespread speculation about the nature of the entities haunting the Umpqua River Lighthouse. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Umpqua River Lighthouse remains a beloved landmark, attracting tourists eager to glimpse a piece of Oregon's maritime history. For those brave enough to spend the night, the promise of encountering Emily's restless spirit or Sarah's artistic apparition proves irresistible. Yet, as each new visitor steps across the threshold, they must decide whether they are prepared to face the echoes of the forgotten, or will they become another chapter in the lighthouse's tragic tale. Dear reader, as we bring this journey through Oregon's most haunted lighthouses to a close, I hope you've felt the same spine-tingling allure that has drawn countless souls to these spectral sanctuaries. These stories are more than just campfire tales or urban legends. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the unrelenting passage of time. Each creaking beam, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a reminder that the past is never truly gone. It lingers, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of these haunted lighthouses yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, climb the spiral staircases where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these establishments offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond the veil. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint strains of music in an empty tower? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted lighthouses, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.